Nikola Tesla, a name that sparks wonder, whispers of genius, and rumors of madness. Today, he's celebrated as a pioneer of electricity, the mind behind alternating current, and the unsung architect of the modern world. But behind the legacy lies a tale far darker, of betrayal, poverty, and obsession. Tesla was not merely a scientist. He was a man consumed by vision, tormented by loneliness, and ultimately erased by the very system he tried to electrify. He died alone in a hotel room, feeding pigeons, ignored by the very world he helped create. This is not just a story of brilliance, it's a story of collapse. Born during a lightning storm in 1856, in a small village in modern-day Croatia, Tesla was destined for electricity. His mother, Kuka, a self-taught inventor herself, encouraged his strange mind. By the time he was a teenager, Tesla had photographic memory, fluently spoke 8 languages, and could solve differential equations in his head. But he was haunted by visions, literal hallucinations of light, energy, and intricate designs. His imagination was so intense, it terrified his peers. Teachers thought he was lying. Priests feared he was possessed. Tesla, however, believed he was seeing into the future. Electricity wasn't just a tool to him, it was a language of the universe. He dreamed of a world lit wirelessly, powered freely. And as he left for Graz University and later Prague, that vision only deepened. But poverty followed him everywhere. He never completed his degrees. He slept little, worked obsessively, and battled an undiagnosed mental disorder that today we might call obsessive-compulsive disorder or even schizophrenia. Tesla arrived in New York in 1884 with 4 cents to his name and a letter of recommendation addressed to Thomas Edison. "I know 2 great men, and you are one of them. The other is this young man." Edison hired him and then dismissed him. When Tesla proposed alternating current, Edison mocked it as dangerous. He was devoted to direct current, even though it was inefficient and couldn't power cities. Tesla walked away and began digging ditches for money. But soon, a powerful ally appeared, George Westinghouse. He saw Tesla's AC system not as madness, but as the future. What followed was one of the most brutal smear campaigns in scientific history. Edison publicly electrocuted dogs, calves, even an elephant to prove a sea was deadly. But Tesla didn't flinch. He demonstrated the safety of his system by allowing current to pass through his own body in front of audiences. At the 1893 Chicago World's Fair, Tesla and Westinghouse illuminated the entire event using AC. It was a victory, the beginning of a new electrical era. Tesla had won the war of currents, but the cost would be greater than he imagined. Tesla was not satisfied with powering homes. He wanted to power the world, wirelessly. In his mind, energy was a right, not a commodity. He envisioned a global system of towers that would send electricity through the atmosphere, free to all. J.P. Morgan initially backed him, funding the construction of Wardenclyffe Tower in Long Island. But when Morgan realized there was no way to meter and thus monetize the wireless energy, he pulled the funding. The tower was never completed. It was torn down. Tesla's patents expired. Others profited off his inventions. He fell into deeper paranoia, believing that his notes were being stolen by the government, by rival scientists, by hostile forces. His reputation faded. Once celebrated, Tesla was now dismissed as a madman. He began claiming he had invented a death ray and that he could split the Earth in 2. Whether these were delusions or unproven breakthroughs, we'll never know. By the 1920s, Tesla was living in hotels, his bills paid occasionally by sympathetic friends or admirers. He avoided human contact. He walked for hours in Central Park, feeding pigeons, which he claimed spoke to him. He grew increasingly eccentric. He had a deep fear of germs. He wore gloves constantly. He measured food by volume. He claimed to be receiving signals from other planets. But behind the strangeness remained a tragic brilliance. He continued working on designs for bladeless turbines, vertical takeoff aircraft, and devices we still don't fully understand. He wrote letters predicting climate change and the rise of AI, but no one listened. On January 7, 1943, Nikola Tesla was found dead in room 3327 of the New Yorker hotel. He had suffered alone for years, penniless, forgotten. Within hours, the FBI seized his documents. Some were classified, others vanished. Conspiracies exploded. Had Tesla discovered something too powerful to share? Today, Tesla is a household name, not because of textbooks, but because the world rediscovered his genius. Scientists now acknowledge him as one of the greatest minds to ever live. His work paved the way for radio, radar, remote control, robotics, renewable energy, and even wireless communication. The very smartphone in your hand owes something to Tesla's dreams. But fame came too late. He never saw his redemption. Tesla's collapse was slow, silent, and devastating, not unlike the very systems he tried to warn the world about. Maybe the lesson is this: brilliance alone isn't enough. Without recognition, without support, without structure, even the brightest light can be swallowed by darkness.